What's up, guys? We're gonna run an interview I did with Tanissa. But I called her Ty on here. About to run this interview that we did, and I'm very grateful that she did the interview. If you are watching, rewatching this, then consider supporting the page or sending stars to help keep the content flowing. Either way, it's gonna flow. But you know, anyhow, let's go ahead and start the podcast with Tanissa and listen to her story. Thank you for doing it. Oh yeah, by the way, this podcast is sponsored by Hemp House CBD Dispensary. For all your CBD needs and things that you might want to know, we can learn together. Because I'm learning about it too. I know that it helps me and it can help you. All right, here we go. And don't forget to share. Share, please. Am I done? Yeah, I'm done. All right. We're recording Ty. Do not say Tanissa, even though I'm curious to know how do you say your name?
Okay, so watch this. You know how to say Lisa, right?
Lisa.
So instead of Lisa, put Nisa
Nisa?
and then Ty,
Ty.
Nisa.
Tanissa. Okay. But Ty. Thank you, Ty, so very, very much. It was an answered prayer, really, or definitely a calling out to try to get people heard, and not everybody's willing to be heard. And the crazy part is, if you check your message request, I messaged you like 3 days ago to come
You
do
did?
this. Yes, ain't God
Oh my
good?
God.
It's crazy,
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that people don't understand that it's 2020 and we can come together and create change, but you have to be willing to sort of hold the sign up, speak up, say it. And when Audrey first messaged me, she was the only person that messaged me when I put that post up, and I posted it in multiple places. I was like, she was like, well, nobody's gonna really listen. It's a drop in the bucket, da 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 da. And I'd really like to get more people to do it. And I said, you're going to be the first, and hopefully others will do it. So thank you so much for coming on. What was it about the podcast with her that sort of led you to do this?
Well, it's like we started this movement to get people together because we have been tired of what we have to go through, and it was just piled on. The pandemic was hard enough. People really do not understand what teachers have had to go through since March. We were left to figure out how we're going to teach our kids from home with no information, with no technology, with the little stuff they had. Then, we worked with them and did all of that from like March all the way until May, some kids even till June. Then we were told, you know what? We couldn't reach anybody, just throw it all out. Now, meanwhile, we are dealing with some buildings where we have been going through these environmental issues and complaining and calling and working and dealing, trying to figure out what's the number one thing that I run out of with my supplies? Tissue. Why?
Hmm.
My kids always have some kind of sinus infection. Kids are always sick. Teachers are getting sick. We've
Hmm.
had teachers have strokes in our building.
Oh my
We've had
gosh.
people pass out, nosebleeds. Then I'm like, dang, my kids have nosebleeds a lot. What is the issue? And they'll tell me all the time, when I go home, I'm not sick like this. I'm sick when I come to the school.
Oh my gosh.
Rat, bat, oh my gosh, like flooding. Now they said, okay, we are going to buy a roof and buy us a brand new roof. Great. But you were supposed to fix it 5 years ago. So what's happening? So that means when you said you did it 5 years ago, it didn't really happen.
Yes.
And now what's going on? Now they're fixing the roof and all the construction is blowing into our ventilation system. The ventilation system that was already full of mold. We've got school, and we're not the only school. Have teachers who are literally dealing with filth. When I come back from the summer, come back in my room, there's rat droppings everywhere.
What school is this?
I'm at Brubaker Middle.
All right. And you've been a teacher for how long?
I've been a teacher 10 years, 8 years in MPS, because I started in Altasca County.
8 years in MPS. All right. Whoa. Okay. First of all, thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think teachers are like way. I think that teachers are so underserved. Like, it just blows me away how the societal construct is that we, and don't get me wrong, I like sports, I like entertainment, but we pay those people so much money, and the people that are actually, that have villages of our kids together, trusting them, educating them, helping them go through life, and showing them really 6 7 hours a day what it is to be a human being, a responsible human being, that it's so underserved. It's almost like we should have a teacher's bowl instead of a Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Exactly. And we don't
So
ask so much. We know it's expected. It's just that to get anything, to get any kind of recognition, and it's not like we're looking for recognition. It's just to get any kind of promotion, you have to go get another degree. So I'm teaching, I'm grading papers, and I'm in school myself to get a degree just to get an extra 5,000, get an extra 10,000, go get another degree because they're not going to give you a raise. The raise comes, I mean, very, very far apart. So then it's like, this year last year they finally started giving us money, like a good amount of money to get stuff for our kids. But then they told us we couldn't get the things that we wanted. We normally get like $250. I mean, that's a
for the
couple months
year?
for the year.
No
So
way. No way.
last year we got 600, and that's the first time we got 600 in my entire career. I was like, wow, okay, they gave us some money, but then they're like, but you can't buy this, and you can't buy that. And I was like, but those are the things that I need. I have what I need to teach in my class. I need supplies, hand sanitizer, tissue, stuff that our parents can't afford or don't, bring. And then the pandemic hit, and I'm like, wow, if we had been able to spend that money on the supplies that we need for school, then we wouldn't have been out. And that's on top of cleaning, because we have to clean up everything. We have to deal with, I mean, we got ventilation systems that are so, air sealant tiles that are so full and thick with dust and mold. It's ridiculous. I'm like, we're not supposed to be going to school in that. They
Yeah.
said, well, open a window for ventilation. Okay, well, some of us have windows that don't open. There's some schools that don't have windows.
Sure.
We have an air conditioning system that does not turn. Oh no, they turn on your air downtown and they turn it off downtown. Like, how in the
What?
world does that happen? Yes, you got other people with the window unit at grandma's house. You got schools literally that have those old school air. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Hey, hey.
You good? You
But I get
good?
it though. That shouldn't be in a school. They should have
Yeah,
central heating and air all day.
because then my kids can't hear me. Because I've
Right.
subbed and I've been in summer school like at Goodwin, and you can't hear when it's on. So
I
then how
went
am I
there.
teaching this noise?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I could
you,
I
you
could
know, and
totally I never thought about that as I went there, but it was hard to hear, and I'm already, I think, hard of hearing, and it was hard of hearing. Maybe that's why I didn't like it, Mama. But anyway, what's
but
the movement? What's the
the
movement
movement,
that you, because I
no,
because I saw you doing some stuff, and I was like, I need to reach out to her, and I did. So go check your other message folder on Facebook, because you didn't
okay.
see it. But what's the movement, and what's the goal of it, and what can be done? Because I don't want to, harp on the problems like too much, but I mean,
Yeah,
because I know they're like just incredible. I mean, I don't.
it's impossible.
It's really ridiculous. Like, our schools are old. It just it but it doesn't surprise me though, because our jail is old too,
Yeah,
and it's like, it blows me away, the irony there. But what's the movement?
the movement is no plan, no personnel. They didn't give us a plan. Now look, when we got ready to come back in August for the first 9 weeks, I'm talking about they had like a 35 to 70 some page plan. This is how you're going to transition. This is what you're going to do with these kids, all of that. And we had that ready for how to teach remotely. Okay. So now, all of a sudden, now we're going to be going face to face. There was concern, and we expressed our concern. Mm, they didn't listen to our concern. Then we're like, okay, but we really do have concerns about how we're going to come face to face when we're not ready. We have concerns about what's going on. What are we going to do? Nothing. So maybe that Thursday or Friday, before this week, last Thursday, Friday, that's when we got a plan. And it's not even detailed. So now we have teachers in school teaching face to face and virtual at the same time
Oh my God. I know. That's what Audrey said. I'm like, I can't understand that. That blows me away.
with no training. No training now. Well, we'll get you trained when we get started. But we don't have the tech, and I'm a tech coordinator. We don't have the technology to do that for every single teacher. So how are you going to expect us to jump teach? This is what we were told. Sit at your desk, log in, go online with your virtual students. The kids are in your class looking at you. And so I'm supposed to, like, I'm talking to this computer right now. I'm talking to computer teaching, and there's kids in my class right there looking at me, looking at the screen. How am I going to do that? Or if I get up and actually do stuff on the board for the kids that are in my classroom, how are my virtual students going to see that?
So,
I mean, it's,
I hate to
so if
laugh, but
I'm
I'm
teaching the
just,
face-to-face kids and they're raising their hand, I have kids that are online that are raising their hand, and I can't even see what's going on.
it's impossible.
It's impossible.
It's
So what are we
impossible.
asking for? We are asking for a plan. We are asking them to push back until January.
That's what
Flu
I'm
season
thinking.
will be over.
Yeah.
This kind of, this double corona flu, we don't want that, because we're not just looking about us, we're talking about our children.
True,
We
true.
want to push it back, and that gives us time to plan. That gives us time to prepare. That gives us time to train. These 15,000 Chromebooks that they ordered at the end of the summer, that they could have ordered back in March, but they said that they ordered, no, honey, y'all ordered it at the
Who's
end of the
making
summer.
these decisions? Is it the board?
I don't know who's making the decision, but the information is coming to us late from the board and the superintendent.
Who's the superintendent? I should
Dr.
know, but
Moore and Roy Moore.
how do you feel about that person?
I feel that she thinks that she's doing what's best with what she has, but I also feel like she's not taking into consideration the seriousness of how this is affecting all of us. There's too much politics involved, and this isn't politics, this is life.
Hmm.
And when we're telling you these things are going on, I understand. They always talk about, well, we need higher millage. We really don't, because if we have people who can embezzle hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's money that could be going to a school. And so it's mismanagement of funds, which I understand was here before she got here. But when you come into a mess, you don't come and just lead with an iron fist and have your ears closed. Don't patch up stuff and not deal with us when we're coming to you seriously with legitimate concerns. Because if we leave, there's nobody who's going to be able to step in our place.
What? Okay, so are you currently employed?
I am.
You're still a teacher?
Yes.
At Brubaker?
At Brubaker.
Hold on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I love the tenacity and why are you talking about this right now like this? Aren't you afraid of your job getting put in jeopardy?
I'm not, because I'm more afraid of my life than my job. One. Two, I'm a United States military veteran.
Hey, thank you for your service, sister.
Thank you. So look, I'm already disabled veteran, so they can take care of me. But there are teachers who are younger than me, teachers who just graduated from college, teachers who are brand new, who don't have a leave, who don't have the time, and their voices are not being heard. And it is just horrible for me to see a brand new teacher and their first experience is this garbage. And then when they say, okay, I have a concern, it's like, hush. My salary shouldn't be held over my head. The little pitiful piece of a salary that we get should not be held over my head. And it's like, shut up and color. No. And if we understand that there is power in the group of us, that we can come together.
Yes.
Because we're not coming against them. We're just saying, for our baby's sake and for our sake, let's come back to the drawing board and figure out how to do and fix what we've got so that it's manageable, and then go from there.
Why?
We need to have a virtual team and a face-to-face team. You can't require a teacher to do two things at once.
That's obnoxious. I would just say I can't do that. but I'm not there, so I can't say that. But I can't understand how that's just like double workload, basically.
Double workload. And when you're a virtual teacher, they can access you all the time. So it's like, okay, I gotta make sure, I gotta go online, I gotta check my email, I gotta check out in the system, see if this is together, make sure that, you know, and then when it's face to face, you have to make sure that they're okay, tend to their needs, get this stuff done. You can't do that. It's like I have double the class for every class that I have.
So
So when
you,
I get double the pay,
so you are still teaching. How was the first day?
I was not there.
Oh,
I
because
was
you're
out.
protesting.
I was, yeah.
So they, well, I'm not going to
I
speak that.
informed all of my students. My students already know because I let them know I'm fighting for you all. So I just said, first week of school coming back, we have to learn this new, because they gave them a whole new schedule and just flipped it all around. So they're doing, 3 classes one day, 3 classes the next day, an hour and a half block,
Do
modified
most
block.
kids, do most kids you think want to be there?
At the school,
Yeah.
honestly, I do think some want to be there just because they have expressed that they have a hard time doing this stuff technology-wise, which I understand.
Sure.
But like I told him, I said, when you learn on your video game and how you play your phone and stuff like that, there are things that you learn how to do where it was hard at first. But if you need help, I work with you to get you to that point, and then we'll be okay. So it's
So do you think that the majority want to be there or no?
no, they've expressed they're afraid. They've let me know they're kind of nervous, but they do miss their friends. I understand.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
They want to hang out. They want their social aspect.
Exactly.
But they also don't want to be exposed to anything because they watch the news too. They see
Exactly.
Nick Saban. Nick Saban has.
I just heard that today. I just heard that. Just like an hour ago. I was like, no way.
So it's like those are things that now it's hitting home. Cam Newton has coronavirus. These are things.
Cam Newton has it?
Yeah, he went on quarantine. That's why they didn't play. So these are the things, the people that the kids know are now being affected, and they're seeing that, wait a minute, something's going on. When you hear about cases getting ready to go back up in Alabama, that's frightening. And it is our job as teachers to calm them down.
Exactly. Both psychologically and just in general. So have you heard from Brubaker, like, are you going to have a job when you decide to go back? I mean, if you do, like how are they handling the protest, the school system?
I don't know. I know that right now, a whole lot of kids didn't come back. So they're dealing with it. There are quite a few teachers at many of the schools who took off. And what I need people to know is I'm not trying to make it hard for the teachers that stay. What I'm trying to do is let it be known that there's a serious issue here. We're not ready. Teachers are overloaded, and we need to come back to the drawing board.
So would you say that most teachers are against reopening?
Yes. They coming out, they complain silently.
No, they gotta get out, and that's what I'm saying. People don't understand that it just takes a small rock to cause big ripples. You gotta be heard. And I realized whenever Audrey was on, I was like, this is hitting the vein with a lot of people because I'm a parent of a son that goes to a Montgomery public school, so I'm just as much invested as anybody. And it's a real issue because I'm tired of seeing the lack. It's so much lack. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if a lottery is the answer. I definitely am for cannabis legalization. That's probably something I ongoingly mention. But there's something that's got to give because it just don't make sense. How can our school system be so jacked up when we make $4 billion on tourism now? $4 billion downtown. 2019, we made $4 billion. How can our school systems be jacked up? If Maxwell and Gunner, there's a theory, if Maxwell and Gunner were to ever pull out, it would be like a big Selma. No cap to Selma because I love Selma, but Selma's dried up.
dried up very much so, and it's because of the loss. If we lose Maxwell and Gunner, this city will be gone. I mean, it's already. I remember when I was in the military, I escorted a guy who was from Turkey. He was an officer, and he was like, "This is the capital of your state. Like, where are the big
No.
buildings and the skyscrapers? Like, this is your capital? Like, a capital city is supposed to be a capital city." This man is from Turkey, and he understood that. And it's like, I know, but I mean, the money, people came, we had this whole big old civil rights movement, and then everybody left, and the commerce left, and everything. If the base leaves, that's it.
Yeah.
And then I've already talked with them. They said, I'm not taking my kids there. My kids are either going to be at magnet school or private school. And that's sad to
Yeah.
say because it should be equitable across the board, and
It
it's
should
not.
be.
Because the magnet schools, except for a few, are looking very nice.
Are they?
But yes, their buildings are not dilapidated, not all of them, but they get a nice round of stuff. Like right up the street from Brubaker, they're rebuilding BCW from the ground up. They took over that church there on Bell Road, and they are building a brand new BCW. But we're falling apart in the elementary school. Like, hello, they were in a building, and I do understand because I heard the young lady talk for BTW, and she said, we're in an elementary school and we're high schoolers. And that's not fair because you got little bitty toilets, little bitty sinks, stuff like that. They could have renovated. They didn't have to build a whole brand new or use whatever they got. And I'm not telling people how to do their job. I'm offering suggestions and ideas.
Yeah.
But the point is, the money is not coming to schools on certain sides of town. You got Brubaker Middle. You got JD. You got South Lawn. You got Lee. And we are literally teaching in filth. I sent you the pictures. You go out there and check. And it doesn't make sense for us to have to deal with that. And then the excuse is the millage. I understand that, but there is something that can be done. There's little bits of things that can be done.
Well, when they in 2018, I did a project, and it was for Yellowhammer back when I worked with them out of Birmingham, and I looked into some stats. And it was a short film I did, and I realized that Alabama was 49th in education in 2018. And it's like, if you live here, I'm from here, it makes sense. Yeah. The conditions. Look at the conditions. I hate to be smiling and saying it, but dang. Dude, I went to public school my entire it's just ridiculous.
But I'm gonna tell you like this: it's the one thing I learned and I've lived here multiple times because I got stationed here twice. But in Alabama, the first thing that they cut is the education budget. Every time when Bentley's, he cut the education budget, we got to pay for this, we got to pay for that. When you do not invest in your education, then everything else falls apart. That's our prisons are overcrowded, all stuff.
Oh my gosh!
Didn't invest in education. We're always last. We're dead last. And I believe we're now 51st. And that's sad because there's only 50 states, which means we're behind Puerto Rico. That is a problem. And it's not that we're not intelligent, because we are. But the lack of appropriation in education and the funding funneling to us. We have 2 major military bases. I was a finance officer over an $8 billion project here in Montgomery. There's money that can be funneled here if we work it right, but we're not. And then we don't stand together for anything, so we're going to continue to go without.
Well, hopefully this can be an example of something that we all can stand for. I think a lot of the confusion on a national level comes from whether, and I'm definitely not trying to make this political because I'm non-political, but you have a president that's saying open up the schools, open up the country, but when you're, boots on the ground, it's like whether you want to vote for Trump or not, it's hard to agree with him on that statement right now, because we're in it. We're in the tornado. You only watching it, Prez,
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's.
I'm not saying don't open to everybody. There are some schools that say they're ready, but the schools that are not,
don't open them.
I don't care. Do a hybrid. Pull back. We didn't even ask so much. We just said push back until January so that we can get this training, so we can clean this stuff up, so that we can get these buildings together? No. Are they going to be 100%? No. But are there things that we can do to get it better? Yes. Can we let the teachers who have underlying health conditions teach from home? Have a virtual team and a face-to-face team. So that way those teachers who have sick children at home, sick parents at home, they just said again, there are 2 teachers here in Alabama lost their parents. Now that's the 3rd teacher that I know in the state of Alabama that has lost their parent going back face-to-face. And you can't do that to people. Push it back to the schools that aren't ready. Let it be broken up so that teachers are not overwhelmed. If you have a virtual team and you have a face-to-face team, we're good.
Exactly.
And then less work, and that can be scheduled out. There's some schools that are doing it because their principals came in and they said, look, we don't have a plan. I'm going to make the plan. This is how we're going to do it. And it's working. But if we could all come to the table, then that plan can go forward and we can figure out what works for each school. And that's all we're asking.
Claire Well, Claudia Mitchell, and Oronde, I know them. I hope that they're watching. I know Claire and Claudia, Miss Claire and Claudia are on the school board, president, vice president. I would love some transparency, and I think that we have the right as parents of children in MPS school to know some transparency on what is the plan. Okay, just show us the plan. It should be me and you could sit here for 2-3 hours and devise a virtual and a teacher plan. Probably. I mean, it would probably take longer than that, but you get what I'm saying. We could start to at least have a virtual side, so that responsibility is not on the teacher. You know, it would actually be. I don't see how the city doesn't hold itself accountable and go in every one of these classrooms. Like Audrey said, there was 24. Like the same way they go hit the nightclubs to see if they're at capacity, they should hit the schools.
Exactly.
And that, to me, that's like, okay, so you'll go do that, but you won't go. So you won't hold yourself accountable, but you'll go hold the U-Bar accountable. And,
exactly.
You know,
license and all of that.
Yeah.
Because they won't come and shut the school down like, hey, you're not up to code, so how about we close this for a minute?
Exactly. The health department needs to be there. If the health department hadn't been there, the building inspector, I bet, and I'm not, just trying to complain about all this stuff, but our schools are old. If you took a sample of the paint layers at Lee or Capitol Heights or Goodwin, there's no telling how old. And just, I mean, I'm sure that it can be Googled, but it just seems like we're not investing in our future in Montgomery as far as education. It's a segment. It's like you're either poor and you're going to go to these shitty schools, and I'm not going to hold my language back. I'm going to be me. Sorry if it offends you, but I'm sorry, teach. See, now I feel bad because I know you're a teacher, but that's how I talk normally, and I don't want to be inauthentic. Something's got to change, and it's got to start with the people that are actually in those positions. Like you said, most people are afraid to come out and say something because they're just fearful of the repercussions, and I get that. But if you don't say anything, they won't hear you.
They're scared, and there's retaliation. I mean, we already have people. We tried to put our group together, and folks are going right behind and going and telling. And it's like, really? Because we're not doing anything wrong. One, First Amendment. But
there you
two,
go.
We're not saying we don't want to work. We want to work. We're saying we want to work. And
there just needs to be a plan.
Pandemic.
Has there been a plan or memo or anything that they've sent you? I mean, has there been anything that they've sent you?
Yes, they did. They sent it that Friday before the 4-day weekend.
So that's all that you've received from MPS?
Yeah. And it's not even
one email. You received one email.
One email at the end after I saw it on WSFA. Because if I hadn't watched WSFA, I wouldn't even have known the kids were coming back. The last I heard was they were surveying the parents.
So
now I will say this: we did talk because we called. We've had Zoom meetings. We've had school board meetings at Carver. We've had a YouTube live meeting. So it's not like we haven't been bringing our concerns up. We brought our concerns up when they sent us that little piddly piece of an email that said, "What are your concerns?" And it was just an open-ended survey. The parents got a whole full survey of questions about what to do. Do you want your child to go face-to-face or virtual? What? They got a whole bunch of. We got one question with a big old block and said, "Put your concerns here." Who's going to read thousands of emails with that little block there? We
That
know
was
they didn't
such
hear.
a formality. That was like,
Yes,
we
and we got
care,
that one.
look. We care, look. See, we
Look,
care. We sent the email.
yes, late. And then we got this
So
plan
hold on. So they
late
notified the news media before they did their teachers?
as
Is what
usual.
we're getting
That's
really.
Mhm.
They have a big messaging problem besides the other problems that MPS has. They have a big messaging problem.
Yes. Now the superintendent did let us know that they said that she said, "Well, I sent the information to the principals. The principal's supposed to give it to you all." But we also have a whole bunch of brand new principals because they changed principals like we changed draws.
All right. So every 3 days. No, I'm kidding.
You
Anyway, I'm just playing. So, can you get some other teachers to come on here and talk?
yeah.
Because I think that I know that we will be heard. We'll force their hand because the louder you are, that's the way to go. Because when there's something that's unjust, you're supposed to jump in and this is just not right. It's hard to imagine like being a teacher. Like I would have to resign or do what you're doing because I wouldn't know what to do right now. I would literally.
Can I say this? Don't resign. Make them fire you so you get unemployment.
There you
Because I'm
go.
not going to resign. I learned that because I got tricked when I was non-senior.
That's good advice. Good
My
advice.
principal tried to make me resign because I was pink flipped because they pink flipped all first year teachers. And I remember Coach Brothers, I love you, dog. Out at Marbury, I was at Marbury Middle School out there in Alcantara County, and he said, "Don't you sign a resignation ever. Make them non-renew you so you can get your unemployment."
So
Because
that's a bit of advice. Yeah.
yes.
Any other
So,
advice that you want to give teachers out there that might be watching?
well, if they think that they have any legal things that because they asked us to, they offer us different connections with different companies. Well, we cannot use anything that we purchased through the school to find out what our rights are. So, like, they have this company called Legal Shield. If I get in trouble, hey, I don't work for them, so whatever. But I called Legal Shield, like, what are my rights as an employee? And Legal Shield was like, you can't ask that question. There's an amendment that prevents us from being able to service you in that area.
You're kidding me.
I'm not.
You have got to be kidding me.
So, like I said, there's power in the pen because once we learn stuff, it's like, okay, then cancel that. It's cancel culture right now. So there's a lot of things in organizations that we can start to cancel when we don't get the help that we need. Because like I said, I'm not afraid. My mom went through integration and they protested it. So if I'm a product of that, I'm not going to sit here and let my career cause me to live in a place where it puts my students, many of our students are raised by their grandparents, their parents. We deserve to have a detailed plan, as detailed as the first 9 weeks, so that we know what to do. What happens when this is gone? We have kids now at one school where there's construction going on in that school, so they're having to walk around and go through stuff. There's kids that are changing classes. They're in the hallway talking to each other, removing their masks. You have to tell kids to put their mask back on. They don't plan for that. There's fight. What happens if there's a fight? How do I break up a fight in a way that I'm environmentally safe so that I don't get hurt or exposed, but I also protect other children from not getting hurt or exposed? What do we do about that? There's no contingency plan for the what if, because if you're not in the school and in the classroom to know that these are the things that are happening, like what if you knew that we told you all we don't have the technology to teach virtual and face-to-face at the same time? Then that could have been addressed ahead of time before we're sitting here looking stupid in front of our parents. Parents are calling, the intercom is going off. I'm looking at kids online, and there's kids in my classroom who can do that. And you got to be mama, counselor,
Oh
seamstress,
man, there's not enough Xanax and pot
provider.
that could do it for me.
If I
um,
have to speak for teachers, we got to speak up because teachers are
got to
drowning. We are not feeling heard or appreciated, and it's sad because we are highly degreed individuals. If
for
I
sure.
lose my job, if there's retaliation over this, fire me, please, so I can sue you. Or either that or I got 4 degrees. I'll get another job. I'll go
Hey,
back to the military.
sister,
I
I
really
don't
don't
think
care.
you're.
But I want teachers to be taken care of, especially the non-tenured, because they don't have a fight, but they have a voice.
That's
So
right.
they're telling me, help us because this is scary to work like this, but I don't want to lose my job. I just graduated.
It's fear. It's nothing but fear. I hate it for them, and props to you for taking on that burden because I know it's an emotional burden as well as a just a burden in general. What's the AEA again? Audrey was telling me about it. What's the AEA and your opinion on them?
The AA, there are unions. And so I will give shout out to Miss Sherry Tucker because she's the AEA president. She's for the whole state of Alabama. So she did give us some wonderful information on what to do in this situation and, who to talk to, who to call. But we need to hear more from the rest of our AEA reps, especially in the city of Montgomery. And I can't talk for everybody everywhere, but they have so many thousand members. We should have been heard from them. They should have been the one to take this charge and say, okay, what are we going to do? What do we need to take to the table? We don't need them going to the superintendent first and going to the school board first. You need to come to us first because our paychecks are being deducted to pay our fees, to pay our membership dues. Then I need to see my UNICEF director. I shouldn't have to email you and tell you this is what's going on. We all watch news. We all know what's going on. So reach out. I called, but I got the office and got the email, and then they're on quarantine. So it's like, hey, look, I'm going to let it be known. I'm going to let it be known. And if I fall on my face, I fall on my face. But there are people who are afraid to speak. I'm not afraid of nothing. But it's not about me. It's about these teachers who have no voice because for so long, Montgomery has shoved and raised your salary over your head to where these people, I promise you, it's like they're on a plantation again. It doesn't make sense for you to feel like you're a slave to your job, that you can't speak up for what you believe in and for what you need. This is for our kids. I don't need kids having nosebleeds. I don't need kids taking anything back to their parents or their grandparents.
Now, if you get fired from or let go from, not you, I'm just saying in general, if someone gets let go from a Montgomery Public School, they can't go to another school and get a job here in the county?
I believe you can, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know the rules because I just work.
Sure.
And then I ask other people because my mind is so military that I don't know. So I'll ask somebody to find out what you can do. You have to ask the teacher.
Sure. Yeah. It seems like no. It's just like when you said that, it's almost like they know if you act up, we can kind of not give you a job in the city, and you got to go to another city or out of town or virtual or something like that. That's what it sounds. Yeah, it's the good old boys that are still down there. That it's something. Something's up because the dudes and the teacher, I don't know, they sell like $300,000, right? Or was it $400,000?
Yeah, $375,000.
Don't know where they're at and what they're doing. There's no transparency. They ain't talking about that no more. Where's the money at? Huh?
How did you get access to that much money? Because we can't even buy the stuff that we need for our school. So how do you get access to $375,000? That's crazy.
It had to go up the chain. I'm telling you, somebody is getting paid off. There's no way you can just take $375 out of something, and there's so much corruption, and I hate it because our kids are at stake. Like they're the ones that I kind of feel like I want to have a voice for, because like I'm just, I know how my son is, and I was terrified for him to go back to school. Thank God they offered the virtual thing.
Yeah.
Just for one, because like he's not been socially acclimated to this school. It's a lot of new kids. He's
Yeah.
definitely thinking of COVID, and it's too much. Like, just wait till the first of the year, maybe even the new school year. Just wait. You know, our lives have changed
Yeah.
forever. There's no need to pretend like shit's normal because it ain't. People walking around. Look at the fair. Look at the
Yeah.
fair. You know, it's empty. And then you go to the fair and people walk around with surgical masks on like it's the apocalypse or it's a sanatorium or something. It's weird. We just need to let 2020 go on and get by and reconvene in January.
Just burn it down, let it go on, get out the way, and
Go
then
on,
we
get
can
it
start
out the
over.
way. This is a leap year. This is a skip
Now,
year.
had we, I honestly say, if we had, I don't think we fully understood how serious it was when we left in March. But I think if we had really took a look and said, okay, what do we do if this doesn't go away? Because I think everybody just thought it was going to go away or that it was going to die down. But we didn't have a contingency plan. If we had that, it would be a lot better because we could have been doing preparations all summer long until the kids got here. But we were holed up in the house.
When did you find out that you were going to go back to work or supposed to go back to work at that particular time? When did you find that out?
Come out when we came for the first 9 weeks.
No, after COVID, post COVID.
Oh, they sent us an email and let us know. Like, we had just gone on spring break, and then it was like, "Don't come back." We're like, "What?" Like, we're not coming back. Like, it was just shut down. So we shut down in March, right after spring break, and then they were like, "Okay, you have to find a way to contact your students and try to teach them something. Just keep them in intervention until the end of the 9 weeks. You've got to figure out a way to teach all these kids." So, if you were a teacher that wasn't digital, I'm a digital teacher, so I already do all this stuff. So it wasn't hard for me, but everybody didn't have that. So then we figured out how to get on Google Classroom, use Zoom, and kind of teach our kids from afar. Those who did, log in and say, "Hey, what's going on? Are we coming back to school?" Like, "No, babies, we're out." Then over the summer, it's like, "Okay, are we going to start?" And this was to talk to I think it was told that we already had a plan and we had a plan in place in the beginning. No, the original plan was that we were going to come face to face the first day of school. And then we complained and the parents complained. Then they made that survey. And when they made the survey and the parents, like I think they said 18,000 parents said that they're not bringing their kids back, that's when we decided that we were going to go virtual for the first 9 weeks. And then we were going to come back and see how things are doing and see how we're going to do for the second 9 weeks. But then we were not privy to the second 9 week plan, like I said, until Friday. Some people got the email Thursday, and the rest of us got it on Friday before the 4-day weekend, Hurricane Sally, and the fair.
That's ridiculous.
And then it's like, you're gonna do this, and this is how it's gonna be done. So let's have this faculty meeting now. So it's just like, wait, what?
Any company that treats their employees like crap you can tell a lot of, and MPS is essentially just a big company,
Yeah.
but wow, that's unbelievable. So there was no constant contact between March till there was no, like, one would think that there would be weekly updates. Hey, but wow.
But we do have a communication issue in MPS. And I will say this, we as a group, we don't have any hatred. We're not against anybody. We're just for ourselves and our students. We are for the betterment of the teaching community that are in places that don't have the help and assistance that we need. We're not asking you to not teach. I teach all day, every day. And kids they call us, text us, email us. They will find us. They will go through their parents' Facebook and then find us on Facebook and talk to us. So the kids will not find us.
Bless them.
We teach 24/7, but we just want to teach in an environment where we are safe and where our kids are safe. This is not about us. This is not about money. This is not about politics. This is about being able to teach and know how we're going to make it happen. Teachers can't teach like this. They can't do this you're just gonna figure it out. No, we can't. You can't. Their teachers literally just they're pulling their hair out. How can I teach you and keep social distance and keep y'all social distance and put your mask on and put that down and oh, let me get that rat out the way. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy the things. And then when something goes wrong, we're blamed. You got folks on Facebook, y'all just lazy.
That's what I was going to ask you. What exactly? I made a video that was talking about that. Oh, they just don't want to go back to work. They're lazy. And I'm like, no, dude, you're a grandpa and you got 2 grandkids that you can't even be around for, imagine the hand sanitizer and the face mask and going to the bathroom and what's the protocol and how do you do this and how do you do it's stupid. It's too much.
And y'all know you couldn't teach your kids during the parents were going crazy over having to teach their kids during virtual, and that's just your kids. Now imagine a room full of them. Don't you ever call a teacher lazy, ever in your life. Smack your mouth and say you're sorry, because no, we work hard. It is impossible to teach 20, 30, 40 personalities in one classroom all at the same time. And then, oh my gosh, teenagers, hormones, you want to smack your own kids. So what do you think if I have a room full of your kids and their friends all day? I love my babies, but woo! So we know, and then you have to educate, and then you have to teach and reteach and train how to do this and
Patience.
All of that, plus a pandemic, plus mothering, plus making sure they're okay, plus contacting parents, plus going to PD, plus going through. There are so many pluses that we add onto our plate, and we're just stacking, and they just keep piling it on. You can't do that to us.
This is just it. Audrey was telling me about a lady that was building her own PVC shower curtain dividers. I just blew me away. I would like to go see that. I mean,
we got a few in our school too, and a first year teacher, baby. But making sure that I decorate my classroom and make sure that it still feels like a learning environment, while I also have to
find me a first year teacher. Yeah, because I would like an interview, and maybe you can help me with this. Because no,
I can't. I can't put them at risk like that.
That's true. I was thinking more video purposes. Like imagine, like if HBO did a documentary or something like this is a first year, and you got to go through this crap. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But I get it though. This is their first year, and they definitely don't want to compromise. But at the same time, Ty, I'm for them coming on his podcast. Okay. Like you said, the First Amendment is real, and they can't fire you for speaking your mind. People need to realize that.
But if you're not tenured, they can let your contract go. They do it all the time.
Really?
They do it all the time. Yeah. I remember when I first started teaching, they'll non-renew you and then hire you right back just so that
you won't get your tenure.
Yeah.
And your tenure, you have to be there for how long?
What is it? 3 years in a day or 4 years in a day? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's either 3 years in one day or 4 years in one day. Whoever's in the live, they'll probably put it in the comment section. I'm really, really bad at policy. As you can
that's all. Yeah, that's no. You're
3 years in one day. It's like after your third year, the beginning of your fourth year, that first day.
So what I was getting to is you being tenured sort of helps the courage factor. Like they can't really jack me around because I'm tenured. In a little.
Not really. I've kind of just been this way, so okay. I just don't like. I buck the system. I mean, I've been doing this since field training when I was first coming in the military. I just was always taught to stand up for what you believe in.
That's right. In order for things to change, you have to disrupt the system. Period. There's a system, and we have to disrupt it. Amazon disrupted retail. Uber,
Mhm.
just a lot of stuff is being disrupted, and that's what people don't realize about social media and this page and this platform. A lot of times it's hit or miss, but it's building our own stage that we can be heard. And when you got a lot of eyeballs and a lot of people talking and calling and watching and listening, commenting and liking and sharing, it means something now. And we didn't ever anticipate this when we were kids. I'm 38. I don't know how old you are, but I didn't anticipate 39.
No, sir. Going up a
Oh,
little bit.
well,
Well, a
we ain't
lot of
gotta
bit
go.
more.
We ain't gotta go there. I ain't listen. I didn't call to get your age. I called to get your social security. Anyway, no, I'm just playing. I need a good credit.
No, no, you want this one. But we need, this is an opportunity too. Okay, we don't have mills, and there's people out there talking smack. So, okay, where my lumberyard people at? Where my people? Where my companies and my construction companies? Who would be willing to donate? I mean, if you donated, you can claim it on your taxes. So
And I'll
who
make a
can come
movie
and
about
help
it.
my government schools so that we can get the construction done? If I can watch the Weather Channel and I see this whole town get obliterated by a tornado, and then Lowe's and Home Depot and everybody comes in and they rebuild, and the first thing
It's
they rebuilt was a school in the town, we can do that here
I
if
feel the
we
same way.
get together.
It's to me, this is a state of emergency.
Yes.
To me, like this is there's thousands of our kids that are like just being. And I'm sure it's happening across the nation. Not
Hmm.
not saying it's not, but it's it's almost like whomever needs to come from above the superintendent, the governor, or who somebody needs to intervene. Because
Like, come help us.
yeah, just
Come donate. I don't care. Look, 2 Chainz, drop some money, honey. Like, do something. Somebody do a whole experiment. Call HGTV.
that's what I
All
was
these
saying.
folks.
Somebody donate, and I'll make a movie about it, and they can use it as their business, advertisement.
Exactly.
Like
Because all we have to do is work together. If we pass this tax, we still don't see that money for 4 years. What are we going to do in the meantime? That's when we get together and cooperate. We need a corporation. We need to come together and get our networks and our connections, and then we can make it happen ourselves. That's what you're supposed to do.
that is very, very true. We should, yeah. Well,
I'll
I'm
see what
ex.
I can get. I'll see if
Yeah,
I can get you, baby.
yeah. Get because the more the better, and the more voices heard, the better. So some things you can't deny. There's been lots of stories that I've ran across this page that other news organizations have used, which is perfectly fine because I do the same thing. But we can be heard. We do have a voice. It's 2020. We don't have to wait on the radio or the TV to come and do something about it. We've got a broadcasting station in our pockets. And as long as you're
Yeah,
not insecure and scared, get your ass on
sure.
here and say something because people are listening. Okay,
Yes.
Claudia Mitchell, I interviewed you on a school bus. I love you. Let's do something. I need you on here. Claire Well, I messaged you and you left me on read. I'm not trying to polarize anybody. I'm just saying. When I saw her at the Mexican restaurant, she said she was gonna come on. But I understand it's a tough time right now. Listen, I'm about to try to go eat me something and
Me
just
too. I gotta. I'm hungry.
yeah, and that's probably adding to my frustration right now. I don't want to sound like that we're sitting around complaining and harping. What I wanted to do is do a deep dive on just you as a teacher and one thing I did want to ask you before we go is why did you become a teacher and what keeps you going as a teacher?
I wanted to be a teacher since the ninth grade.
Mm.
I was
What's
in school,
huh?
and my teacher was one of those. Her her husband was the superintendent, and her daughter was head cheerleader, and she was like one of those kind of moms. So she would put the work on the board, and then go over, flip the overhead projector over and turn it into a mirror and do her makeup. And then she was like, if you have any questions, you can ask me. She'll help you. And so, like, one of our basketball players, he couldn't figure it out. And I was like, what's the problem like this? Like, you know how you do the play in basketball? You do this like that? All right, set up the algebra problem like this and work. And he was like, I got it. Then he told the guys on the team, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And I wanted to
Wow.
be a teacher ever. And
Wow.
everybody said, teachers don't make enough money. You're not going to do anything. Go into computer science, go into this and that. And I did everything else and did military and all that. And all I've ever wanted to do is be a teacher. And
It's
so
just in you.
I tutor, it's in me. I love teaching. This is what I was born to do. I teach no matter what I do. I love my students. They know I'm here for them. There is nothing about this that is about us not wanting to work. Look, in the middle of this protest, I'm emailing and texting my parents and my students, like, hey, make sure you go out here and get this done. Hey, go out there and check Edgenuity. I'll be out there in a minute. I'm messaging them like, I know you don't see me, but I'm going to be back. But do this. He's watching now. I'm going to go get you. And just letting them know I'm not against them. I want to teach every day. I just need to teach in the place that I can safely. And I can't do that at my school. But I want everybody to be able to feel comfortable so that that's one less thing off your mind so you can concentrate on teaching our babies. Those are our babies. They deserve to be invested in. They do not deserve to be treated and left behind the way they are. The society is already against us. People already talk about us because we're Alabama. All
Amen.
kind of stuff. So if
Amen.
we can come together and do what's right for our children, that's all we need.
That's all. I want to end on
You're
that. Ma'am?
You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're awesome. I'm not awesome. God is awesome. All this just came about. I've always had, because there was a few teachers in my life, Miss Pinson, Miss Smiley at Seth Johnson, Miss Pinson at Goodwin. I wasn't at, and it just I used to have so much empathy for my teachers as far back as kindergarten. I can remember them trying to get a hold of the class, and I loved when I had a stern teacher. My favorite teacher was probably Mr. Ward in the ninth grade at Goodwin. Nobody liked him. He was a vet. I should try to look him up. And supposedly, if you said incoming, he would like drop to the floor. That was like the rumor that went around from year to year, right? Bald headed dude with glasses or semi bald headed. And so I was nervous as hell when I got Mr. Ward. I was like, God, because I'm sort of a I'm not troublemaker, but I'm there when I'm there anyway. And he ended up being like I can remember him taking me outside one time and he cussed me out real good and real live cussing, but it worked. I went back in there and I was like, not too bad, but he did drop a few bombs, but he was like, you need to tighten your ass up, stop being a class da, da, da. And I was like, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. But teachers have so much of an impact on a human being's life. How we have built up this system across the world blows me away on how we prop up athletes and musicians, but teachers.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a longer philosophical question.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for doing this. I'm honored, and I owe you lunch at Vicky's Lunch Van. So.
All right. And hey, we're open to. We just want a seat at the table. So we asked the superintendent, can you please meet with us?
Meet with us, get us a plan, just a plan.
Yeah. And just give us options, especially for those who are sick.
Are you volunteering yourself to MPS to help with the plan? The plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is. It's official. She's volunteering herself. All it took was a cheeseburger and a podcast. Anyway, hey, thank you so much, Ty, and thank you for what you do. Peace, love, respect. God bless.
You too, hon.
Bye.
Bye.
That's amazingly awesome. That was amazingly awesome. She was still. That was, look. Speak up. Don't be shy. I don't bite. I won't go too far on that comment, but don't be shy. Speak up, because people are listening now more than ever. And if you don't say nothing, they won't hear you. I love y'all. Consider support. And there's a little badge down at the bottom if you want to support. If not, you don't have to. You don't have to. I love you. Bye. Peace.